We have a report that is now stating where a Dodger free agent could be heading during the offseason for, of course, the 2025 year. We also have some pretty awesome quotes from one of our star players who just gave a pretty cool quote at the World Series parade. I'm here to break that all down for you. Hey, this is Mike Nelson of Dodgers Digest. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. I want to thank the almost 10% of you, the ones that are watching these videos who've already hit the subscribe button. 89% of you hit that sub button. Make sure to hit the sub button. I want to thank the thousands of you around the world who have already done it. Myself and Brad J bring you everyday Dodger content. Let's get right into it. Of course, we now have an update here on Walker Buehler. That's right, Walker Buehler to the Red Sox. Yeah, Walker Buehler to the Red Sox. This is from Patrick McAvoy of SportsIllustrated.com, writing an article on Walker Buehler, and he, of course, covers the Red Sox. And he's talking about how potentially Walker Buehler could be a fit for the Red Sox. That is, of course, bad news if you want the Dodgers to keep Walker Buehler, like I did myself talking about in the video yesterday. I do think the Dodgers should do everything they can to keep Walker Buehler. You don't want to see him go into the Red Sox, a team that is potentially could be a contender in the next couple of years. So that is, of course, the latest report. This is from that article. Dodgers who won the World Series have had an entire rotation sidelined with injuries during the postseason. Buehler is coming off a second Tommy John, and he's talking about how this could potentially be an option for the Red Sox. And, of course, a 3.04 ERA and 18 career starts in the playoffs, which is obviously very good to say the least. And this is not the first time, though, which is very interesting. This is not the first time that Walker Buehler's name has been connected to the Red Sox. I'm here to tell you about that right now. Look at Ken Rosenthal. This is back in July during the trade deadline, period of Major League Baseball. Ken Rosenthal, this is from an article as well from Sports Illustrated, talk about how there could be a proposal for a trade that would involve Buehler, getting Kelly Jansen to return to L.A., and, of course, Buehler heading to the Red Sox. Because, of course, during that time, the Red Sox were, in the midst of trying to make the playoffs, and they were in the need of a starter. So there was already some rumblings, kind of strange, months back, of Buehler going to the Red Sox in exchange for Kelly Jansen, who could have, of course, came to the Dodgers to kind of, try to win the World Series. They won the World Series without Kelly, so in the end, they didn't need Kelly Jansen. Comment below what you think about that proposed trade. Buehler to the Red Sox for Kelly Jansen. I think that would have been a complete mistake, because look at what Walker Buehler did. He closed out the World Series for us. So, looking at all this, it's ridiculous. Walker Buehler's got to be on the Dodgers. He's been with the Dodgers his whole career. His whole career he's been with us. And he did too much in the playoffs this year to not deserve a chance to come back. I know he's had a lot of injuries. He might have to take, of course, less money because of the difficult regular season he had. We talked about that yesterday. Didn't have a very good regular season with the Dodgers. And that of course is going to affect his payout now that he is a free agent, right? That's normal. His playoff performances, I think, were enough to really earn a spot on his team. And him going to the Red Sox, I think, is ridiculous. I think it's absolutely absurd that he would even consider going to that team. Because think about it, they didn't even make the playoffs. I mean, they're not a team that's built for a World Series. And Kelly Jansen, I like the guy, but he just wasn't good enough for the Dodgers, in many big opportunities, right? He blew a lot of games, and I wouldn't want Kelly Jansen trying to, close out the World Series for us. I think I was more confident in Walker Buehler. So, yeah, kind of strange to see Walker Buehler's name, connected to the Red Sox again, right? We just saw it connected just a few months ago. And now, once again, getting some reports here that could potentially be an option for the Red Sox. Let's talk about the next point I wanted to go over. And that is, of course, Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts made a pretty interesting quote at our World Series parade. And he talked about how, when he became a Dodger, was it 12, 13 years ago? He said, we've gotten 2 so far. He's talking about World Series. We got 8, 9 years left. He's talking about his contract. And I've got to get at least 5 or 6, right? We got to do this at least 5 or 6 times, right? I got 3. I'm trying to fill this hand up, LA. We love Mookie Betts. I mean, come on. This is absolutely awesome. Awesome stuff. Awesome sauce, as I would say. I mean, this is crazy. Mookie Betts wants to win 5 to 6 World Series with the Dodgers. This is awesome. I mean, come on. Yes, we do want that. We want a dynasty. This is probably, I'm hoping, the beginning of a dynasty for the Dodgers, right? I mean, I think that's what everybody around LA, everybody around the world is, pumped up right now, because we think that this is the beginning of a dynasty, the beginning of something absolutely great that we could tell our grandchildren, right? This is the beginning of, the 2020s era, where the Dodgers won 3 straight World Series, or 4 straight. I don't care how many. Just win more World Series. Just here's the thing. I want them to win another World Series soon, because I want them to have at least one more than the Giants, right? The hated Giants and the hated Giants right now have 8 World Series, right? And the Dodgers have 8 as well. So we got to get one more. We have to jump the Giants. The Giants, of course, jumped us a few years back when they had their run, winning 3 World Series in, 6 years, 3 and 6, if I'm not mistaken, in the early 2010s. So that's got to change. We got to win. We got to win another one. We got to jump the Giants. We got to show we are the better team here in California. We're the best team in the West Coast, and we got to get that World Series done. We got to win one more at least in the near future. And like Mookie Betts said, he wants to get 5 or 6. Hey, I'm all for that. And he also talked about how he told Jeter he's going to catch him. Of course, Jeter having 5, he's saying he's going to catch him. So, hey, that's awesome. Mookie Betts has already won 3 World Series. Think about it. He won with the Red Sox, won with us in 2020, and now won in 2024. Three-time World Series champion on the Dodgers. I mean, that's the kind of players I want to have on my team. And I want to have those kind of players that are making these kind of statements at parades, already thinking about winning more championships. It's absolutely great. Mookie Betts is the kind of player that works so hard day in, day out. He runs very hard, runs out all the ground balls, and it proved to be the right move, right? In Game 5 of that World Series in the 5th inning, his speed on the bases threw Anthony Rizzo and Garrett Cole off, and he, of course, beat out that ground ball, which will forever live in Dodger history as one of the greatest plays of all time in our franchise history, because it beat out the play. The Dodgers, of course, only scored 1 run in that play. It only made it 5-1 at the time, but it kept the bases loaded for Freddie Freeman and Teoscar Hernández, who, of course, delivered, knocked in the next 4 runs, and the Dodgers tied up the game. That moment is going to live on forever, and Mookie Betts has a lot to do with that. And for him to say he wants to win more World Series, I think it's great. And yeah, Walker Buehler, you got to stay with us. Don't go to the Red Sox. We don't want to see you wearing that ugly jersey, that red and white jersey. No, you got to be wearing Dodger blue, because that's what it's all about. Make sure to subscribe, and let's go Dodgers. Woo!